To make your firm favorite, Chole Masala, I'm going to use these Kabuli chanas or chickpeas which are already cooked, and these are available tinned everywhere and are a great time saver. As a second time saver, not to mention not having to keep lots of spices, I'm going to use this blend of chana masala. You can get this in lots of brands. I've got Everest over here, and I want to show you the number of spices that you would normally require to make good chana masala. And by using this blend of masala, we are ensuring that we don't need to have that many in stock. And these come in small pouches, which is an additional advantage, so that we can use up a small pouch until the next time. So to begin with, I'm going to take about a tablespoon of oil in a large bowl, and this is going to be enough for the two generous portions of chole masala that we're going to make today. And from our stash of regular spices, I've put in some cumin seeds, that is zira, about half a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi for color, and about a fourth of a teaspoon of red chili powder. This, of course, you can increase or decrease as per your preference, depending on how spicy you like your chole masalas. I'm also splitting open a green chili and adding this to the spices for flavor, not for heat. And finally, to this mix, I'm going to add about a teaspoon and a half of the ready chana masala blend. So I'm using a half teaspoon measure. I'm going to put in 3 of these. That'll make 1.5 teaspoon. There we go. And with that done, all that I need to do now is give all of this a nice stir. Let me mix all of this together really nicely. And I'm not putting any whole masalas, as you will notice, because I know a lot of people add whole masalas for making masala chole, because the blend that I have used already has garam masala in it. Here I'm going to add some ginger garlic puree, and that I'm adding quite a lot of it. I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of it over here, because chana masala needs it to be a little bit more than our other dishes that we've made in the course. That too I'm going to mix in really nicely so that everything cooks evenly in the microwave. Now I'm going to pop this bowl into the microwave for just 30 seconds, because we don't want to burn our spices. Remember, there is nothing which is wet in there except for the oil, and we're just trying to take away the raw flavor of the ginger garlic paste and the spices that we have put in there, not burn them. Once I have done this, I'm going to introduce the wet ingredient, which is going to be our tomato puree, which is called tomato passata over there. Here, our timer has gone off, so let me just take the bowl out and show you what it's looking like now. You see, the fat is separated, the ginger garlic paste is cooked through, and so have our spices. They've changed the color also slightly, if you see. This is quite a dry mix. Now, before I use the tomato puree, I want to add in my frozen sliced onions into this mix. So I'm going to just stir in about 100 grams of the frozen sliced onions. So the great thing about these, besides of course the fact that you don't have to do any cutting and chopping, is that these cook much faster than freshly chopped onions normally would. And the reason for this is that the freezing process actually in a way separates the solid and the water in the onion slices. I've added in some salt into this, which is also going to help further in extracting the moisture from these onions while they're cooking in the microwave. So I've got everything kind of nicely mixed up over here. And now I'm going to pop this into the microwave for a good 2 minutes. We want those onions to soften up and start blending in with our spice mix. Now, if you wanted to make these cholas with gravy to eat with rice, say, then all the change that you would make is that instead of using the sliced onions that I have used, you can also get the frozen chopped onions, and that is what you would use. And also you would need to cook the onions for a little bit longer at this stage so that they actually melt into a smooth gravy when you're making the gravy of the chanas. You would of course also need to use a little more water than we are going to use in this recipe to form the gravy, of course. So it's been 1 minute. I'm just going to have a quick look at how our mix is coming along because I need to give it a stir for even cooking. Let me pull this out and show you here. So you can see the onions have begun to soften nicely. They're all thawed out and they're softening nicely. And I'm going to just give this another stir and put it right back in for the rest of the 1 minute of cooking that is required. The onions and the masala are now nicely mixed together. So let's just put this right back in for the balance of the 1 minute. Right. So at various points in this video, you will see little pictures popping up of ingredients that are available overseas for you to use. These were pictures that were easily available off the net for me to show to you. But by no circumstances is this a recommendation of the brand or the supermarkets that you can get them at. In fact, parallel brands of the same ingredients are available at most of the supermarkets, whether it is in the UK, in the US, Canada, wherever you are. So these are not ingredients which are hard to find. Also, I have given you a recommended list of ingredients that I think you should carry with you from your home country rather than try and buy them overseas because you will only be doing minimal cooking over there or occasional cooking over there, and spices do tend to get rancid over a period of time if you don't use them. So here our 2 minutes are about to get over. So let's get our bowl out of the microwave and have a look at how far our onion blend has cooked through. You can see the smoke coming out of there, and you can also see the oil that is separated, which is a clear indicator that now our onions are cooked enough and we don't need to cook these any further, right? So at this stage, before I cook the chana masala anymore, I'm going to add our tomato puree to it. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. If you were making this into the gravy version, then you would add more tomato puree, and also of course you would add more spices in proportion to the amount of gravy that you would make. I'm going to mix this in very well as well. And again, just for 30 seconds, I'm going to pop this into the microwave to cook because I want to get rid of the raw taste of the tomatoes and make it a cohesive masala for receiving the chanas that we're going to add into this after this. I have drained off half the amount of water that was in these chanas because we're making a chana masala. But if I was making the gravy, I would hang on to that and use that to make the gravy. I'm just going to mush these up a little bit so that um, it gives us a nice cohesive labdara, or what is a thick masala when we finish. So let me take the onion mix out now. As you can see, this is really nicely cooked. The oil has separated from the gravy. And now I'm going to add these chickpeas into this masala. Let's mix this up really well with the spices because we want all the chickpeas to be well flavored and merging into this masala mix. I'm also going to add a few tablespoons of water into this because as this cooks, it's going to thicken up a little bit and it'll give us that thick gravy or thick masala in which the chickpeas are going to sit. So let's put this right back into the oven, and this time round, I'm going to put these in for a total of 3 minutes. One of the flavors that goes really well with chole masala is ginger. So raw ginger juliennes or little slivers on top are delicious, but they can be a little difficult to cut. I mean, ginger is a pain to peel and cut if you do it with a knife. So here I'm going to show you. Can you see? With the back of with my spoon, with the edge of my spoon, I'm peeling away the skin of the ginger, and it is coming away so easily. Can you see it coming away? And that's all really that needs to be done. Now, this gives us the flexibility of peeling just as much ginger as we want. And of course, as you can see, only the skin is coming away. So there is no wastage either. That's all I will need, and that's all I've peeled. I'm going to put this aside now and get rid of these peels. It's nearly a minute, and I think I want to check on how our chana masala is coming along, and I also want to give it a stir to make sure that there is even cooking. Let's get this out of the microwave. Looking good. I'm going to give it a stir and then let it finish the rest. 2 minutes of cooking required now. As I said earlier, by just tweaking this very same recipe just a little bit, as in increasing the tomato puree, water, and some of the spices, you can also make this into a gravy chickpeas which you can eat with rice. But for this version of the masala chana that we are making, I recommend either plain naan or chapatis, which are absolutely delicious and of course are ready available at the supermarkets for you to have with. So the microwave I'm using over here is a 850 watt microwave, which is what you're likely to have in most of your halls of residences or flats that you rent. But if you find that you have a microwave which is of a higher wattage, then all you need to do is reduce the cooking time slightly, or if you have a microwave with a lower wattage, then increase the cooking time slightly. However, if this is confusing for you, you can also go to an online converter. There are plenty of them, free online converters, which will calculate the cooking time in a microwave for you. Also, I'd like to mention over here that at various points in this video, I have sped up the video slightly, particularly where we were doing nothing but letting the ingredients cook in the microwave so that you didn't have to stare at a blank counter and get bored. So if you find that there is a little discrepancy between what timings I have told you vis-a-vis what you're seeing on screen, don't worry. Follow the ones that I have told you because they will work out absolutely perfectly for making these masala chole. So here goes our ringer, and now our cholas are absolutely ready. Oh, look at that. Can you see the little oil separation on top, which is always an indication of a dish being ready. Now let me pretty this up a little bit by serving it into another bowl. You, of course, can eat out of the same bowl that you've cooked in. That will save you some washing up later. But for aesthetic purposes, I'm going to serve this in a appropriately sized bowl. And then I'm going to garnish this for you. Wow, this does look good, doesn't it? So let me find that green chili. Oops. And I've got some fresh coriander leaves, just a few. And then I'm going to get that piece of ginger that we had peeled earlier. And with my trusty scissors, you can see me, I hope you can see me snipping away at the edge of the ginger and taking out such fine juliennes that you would never be able to manage with a knife. And that's all that really you want on top. And this is going to be the perfect taste.